What's good, everyone? It's the first day of 2023 and I thought, why not give a desk setup tour going into the new year? And I have been posting on Instagram and I actually changed up my setup a number of times this year and I had a couple of setups going at the same time. However, I've since simplified back to a setup that closely resembles the setup I had about a year ago. And go check that video out if you haven't, Desk Setup Tour 2022. But I basically now have 3 setups built into one. The first is powered by my custom built PC, which is a couple of years old now. The second powered by my M1 MacBook Pro. And the last one powered by my work supplied laptop, which I spend the most time using, but it does make the setup look probably the ugliest out of the 3. First, let's get into the basic foundation of the setup and what I look at all day, the monitors. I decided to go with a stacked monitor combo. I was growing tired of the portrait and landscape combo I had been running for a while. Now, last year I was running a 24-inch Dell monitor, ultra sharp U2417H, paired with a 27-inch M27Q Gigabyte monitor, 165Hz, 1440p. I'm still using the Gigabyte monitor. However, I swapped out the 24-inch for a brand new 32-inch Dell G3223D, 1440p, 165Hz. It isn't the sharpest just because 32 inches, 1440p kind of looks a little off, but for gaming, it's more than adequate. And it is a little overkill to have 2 high refresh rate monitors. The Gigabyte monitor up top actually has a KVM built into it, so I could plug in my keyboard, mouse, speakers, whatever I want. Flick of a switch, it'll switch inputs, and I don't really have to switch any of the peripherals that are connected. Taking a look directly above the Gigabyte monitor, the top monitor, I have a BenQ screen bar, and honestly, I wouldn't swap this out for any other desk lamp just because of all the options it has and the fact that it takes up 0 space on my desk. For speakers, these are the most recent addition to my setup. I literally got them this holiday season, and although they have been out for what seems like over a decade, they sound damn near amazing. These are the Audio Engine A2 Pluses, and I'm using the Audio Engine little stands that they sell as well, just to minimize vibrations and kind of elevate the speakers up to my ears. When gaming, chatting over Discord, what have you, or even in-game in COD, I like to use my old SteelSeries Arctis 1 wireless. I've been using these for well over 2 years now, and they've been going strong. Battery life has degraded a little bit, so I don't think they'll last me another 2 years unless I just keep them plugged in all the time, but they sound great and the mic's also great on them. For mice, I'm rocking the Razer Viper Ultimate. This is the first gen with the RGB, and I love that when I'm not using it I can just slap it on the dock and I never really worry about it running out of juice mid-game. The keyboard is also a fairly recent addition. I got it back in the fall a couple months ago. It's the Keychron K8 wireless. It charges via USB-C, can support up to 3 paired devices, which I do take advantage of, and it is also compatible with Mac and Windows, and they actually supply keycaps for both Mac and Windows, which not a lot of keyboards do. You do have to manually switch it over to Mac or Windows mode, and because I don't really use my Mac that often docked, I don't really have to worry about switching it over. I'm using it through Bluetooth, so it gives that clean wireless look on the desk. But when I game, I do hook it up via USB-C and pretty much eliminates any latency you'd get with Bluetooth. For work, it's more than adequate. You're not really going to notice a latency if you're just typing unless you're really looking for it. Even then, for the average person, they're not going to notice it. Both the mouse and keyboard are sitting on a wool mouse pad from Delta Hub. I know people get really irritated from the wool, but luckily I'm not one of those people. You know, mouse pads are pretty easy to swap out, changes up the look of your desk, so I might be swapping this out this year. Above the setup, I have an IKEA lac shelf with my old Canon camera system, a Lego Lamborghini Countach, and some 164 model cars, a Porsche RWB 993, and a Rocket Bunny NSX. Now let's get to the right side of the desk, which is the Alex drawer. Honestly, very similar to last year. If you watched that video, you kind of already know what's in here. Top drawer has this organizer from IKEA. Just have my controllers, DualShock I use strictly for COD with the back button attachment, and that controller honestly is just muscle memory to me at this point. And I have some stationery. I do like to write things down. I got my Xbox controller. This I mainly use for Forza and most Steam games because most of them are coded to the Xbox stuff. The second drawer is just where I put my 9 to 5 stuff when I'm done work or on the weekend. So my work laptop, work phone, other cables that I use, other stuff. Notebook for work that I like to write things down in. The third drawer houses all my camera equipment. So I usually put the Sony camera I'm filming this on in there, filters, DJI gimbal for my phone, a Manfrotto tripod, and just other miscellaneous camera accessories. The fourth drawer is my cleaning drawer. I have some microfiber cloths in there, compressed air, rocket duster for the camera. Pretty boring stuff, but it's stuff that you need to keep the setup clean. Now that I've kind of shown you all the peripherals that are used to make up this setup, let me talk about what powers this setup. Most of the time when I'm gaming, it is my custom built PC, which is almost 3 years old, which is just wild to think about. It's running a Ryzen 5 3600, an EVGA 2060 Super GPU, an Asrock X570 Ti-G motherboard, 32 gigs of 3200 megahertz, a DDR4 Corsair MHz Ram, a ton of SSDs and hard drives, powered from a Corsair 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply, all wrapped in the NZXT H510 Elite case. Stepping away from the gaming setup, I wanted to make sure that I could also dock my Mac or my work laptop, as from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm pretty much docked in and just working. That's what pays the bills. So off to the left, I've left this empty space, which I also use for just taking pictures, recording these videos, unboxings that I have planned. I have a Rink foldable stand, which I love this thing. I might put like rubber feet under it so it doesn't slide as much, but it's pretty good. It elevates the laptop up to a little higher of a level, about 1.5 inches, which isn't crazy, but it's better than just having it rest on the table. And I just plug in 2 cables. One is a USB-C, so this does deliver power, only like 15 watts. So it's enough to keep the laptop running and charge it extremely slowly. And the other is just an HDMI. Final thing I want to showcase is my cable management. For the past, I don't know how many years, I've been using the IKEA Signum rack, I think, and come to realize that if you have too many things connected to it, it just becomes a shelf and it becomes a rat's nest of cables. So this year I used command strips, cable hooks, cable ties, and kind of just stuck everything under the desk. And I think it looks a lot cleaner. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Take care, guys.